Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Module 4. So, supposedly, people have trouble mixing their words up every now and then, using the wrong word, uh, especially when they're talking to people. Did you catch that? Happens quite a bit. Sometimes you're talking to someone and they use the wrong word. Well, I tell you what, one way for sure to confirm that a person does not understand the English language is when they write it down. Um, so, words like, for example, that's just misusing words, but supposedly, when they really mean supposedly, uh, especially when they mean especially. You hear those kind of things in language, and sometimes we see them in a person's writing. So this week we're talking about homophones. Homophones. So it can be a little confusing at times when we have certain words that we use in our writing, especially or especially no especially in police work. And some of them are honest mistakes. Sometimes when you're typing, you type THERE when you actually meant to show possession and use THEIR, or they are as in THEY apostrophe RE. Those kind of things happen. And those are the types of things that spell check is not going to pick up. There are there are some decent programs out there. One of them that I use regularly is Grammarly.com. That's a service that you can find, and you can cut and paste documents in there. And I mean, it'll check for not just spelling, but it will also check for commas, periods, in other words, your punctuation and things of that nature. And it'll also, if you're going to school, it'll also, writing a paper, it'll also check for plagiarism, making sure that things are cited properly. But without going into computer programs and writing college papers and what have you, for this particular course, I just want you to be cognizant of the different types of homophones that are out there and sometimes how they're misused. Now, if you look in Section 3 this week, the majority of the work in here, there's not a lot of reading involved. I mean, pretty much it sets it out with your rules to remember in Section 3. And basically what you have is a pretty extensive word list, and in this word list they have exercises at the end for you to use to make sure that you're using the words the correct way. So that's really what I'd like for you to do this week. I'd like for you to look over the word lists that are provided, use that word list, make sure it's used properly with the exercises that are in the book. Now, one of the other things that I want you to do, and you can just utilize a discussion board, what I'd like for you to do is I would like for you to find 10 words in Section 3 that you think that you might use. Of course, probably all of them, but choose 10 words in there that you think that you might use in a police report. And what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to pick the word, use it properly in a sentence, and then find the homophone that corresponds with that and put the meaning of both. Now, what's the purpose of that? Well, the purpose of that is it's to reinforce in your mind those types of words that come up from time to time that can get confused. We see this a lot in police work when people, when I would review reports and look over them as a supervisor and as an investigator at the DA's office. You knew the message that the person was trying to convey, but when you go on the stand and people have that report in front of them and they're looking at it, it says a lot about who you are, what type of person you are, and what type of professional you are. So it's very important that when you're on the stand, you're able to communicate, using verbal communication. Also, though, when you get done and you're off the stand, they may request to see a copy of your report or something that you've written and look at those types of things. And the other thing also that's very important is that when you're on the stand, you are probably going to have, or you should have, a copy of your report in front of you. So you want to make sure that when that report is written, that it speaks to who you are. And I hope that if you're going into law enforcement, that it speaks to who you are as a professional, because to be quite honest with you, that may be the only way that the jury, the judge, or anyone else for that matter may get an idea of what type of person you are, especially when it comes to professionalism and intellect and things of this nature. It could be, take for example, if you were to write a search warrant later on in your career, and they take that search warrant, which maybe you've seen it on television before, on the 6 o'clock news or 10 o'clock news, and those of you that are in the Eastern time zone, the 11 or 7 o'clock news. And just say, for example, if they were to take that particular affidavit for that search warrant and put it up there on the screen, and there were misspelled words or words weren't used properly, I guarantee you that somebody's going to pick up on that and they're going to see it. So that's another thing. You don't want to give a defense attorney or anyone else the ability to say, well, you misused the word here, so aren't you supposed to make sure that your report is written with 100% accuracy? And when you do your job, aren't you supposed to try to make sure that you cover all your bases and report all the facts? Well, officer, isn't it true that on this particular report you used the wrong word? The chances of that happening may be minimal, but it's just something that you don't want to get on the witness stand, or you don't want to be on TV, or you don't want to be in your supervisor's office and end up being embarrassed because you used a particular word improperly. So that's what we're doing this week. Go through, complete the exercises, make sure you understand how these words are supposed to be used, make sure that you don't confuse them with other words, and then in the discussion board, like I said earlier, if you will just list 10 words, use that word in a sentence, and then at the end put the meaning of both words. I've given an example in italics in your discussion board to kind of show you what I'm looking at. As a group, feel free to look at what other people are doing. I would like for you to do your own work. If someone uses your word, well, it happens. But if you go on there and you see someone else has used your word, kind of an integrity issue, I would like for you to go and find a different word. So kind of a first come, first serve type situation there. So anyway, that's it for this week for homophones. For this particular module, Module 4. Look through it, come up with some sentences. All I'm asking for are for 10. If you want to do more, I will be grading this discussion post. So, put some good effort into it. If you want to do more, that's fine, just to get some practice in. I hope that you guys have a good week. And as always, if you have any questions, call me on the phone or email me. Have a great week.